Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. CeeChronicles is my name. If you're here for the first time, my content is mostly fragrance reviews, lifestyle and fashion videos. So I do hope, that's enough to convince you to subscribe. I hope you'll enjoy and you'll stay on this channel. And I also want to acknowledge my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for always coming back. Today I am here with a fragrance review video. I'm going to be talking about Lost Cherry by Tom Ford. I did a fragrance haul and I did promise that I'm going to bring them, I'm going to bring the detailed reviews to you one by one. So this is what I'm here to talk about. Let me spray it here on my arm because it's already my fragrance of the day. So I've just wasted 3 sprays for you there. Okay, now obviously this is going to be a cherry fragrance because obviously it does say Lost Cherry, but let me tell you more about this. Okay, in the top you've got your sour cherry. Okay, I'm just trying to get it to dry. Okay, it's got your sour cherry on the top and in the mid. Okay, so it does have a lot of cherry. Okay, and that is also accompanied by some bitter almond and some liqueur. And these are the top notes. Now in the mid, you have, you've got that plum, you've got your Turkish rose, you've got your jasmine sambac, okay, and then in the base it's got some tonka bean, it's got that vanilla for some warmth, it's got some spiciness from the cinnamon, it's got some cloves as well for some spiciness, it's got some benzoin, a bit of some sandalwood, it's got some cedar, vetiver, and some patchouli. So this fragrance in a nutshell is warm. It's your warm, spicy, slightly sweet, but I can see some people calling this one very sweet. But to me, it's slightly sweet, okay? Almondy, very almondy, okay? So, yeah, and it's got that booziness to it. This is why I say slightly sweet to me. The booziness in this makes this one not so sweet, at least, to my senses. I don't interpret this as a very sweet fragrance, okay? It's marketed as a unisex fragrance, but I personally feel it leans more feminine, okay? However, I can see a male wearing this, but if you wanted to buy it, say for your significant other or for a male, it's a 70-30, for me. I feel it pulls 70% more feminine than it does masculine, okay? So obviously opens up with that boozy cherry that's mixed with the bitter almond. The bitter almond in here is so realistic you can almost taste it, and so is the cherry. The cherry here is so it's I'm tempted to call it thick, okay, but I don't know whether I should, because obviously this is a cherry fragrance. So would I say this is thick? It has a lot of cherry in here, and it's carried obviously with that bitter almond, so you should expect a lot of something that feels nutty in there, okay? And these 2 notes I feel pull it through from start to finish. That's what I get from the minute I spray my first spray to it's dry down. I get this booziness, I get this cherry, I get a lot of bitter almond, to an extent that extracting some of the notes in here are a bit a bit tricky. I know it does have some rose in here, but I cannot for the life of me smell this rose. I feel this rose is overshadowed by this cherry. So if you're into rose fragrances and you buy this because you want rose, unfortunately you won't get as much rose, at least to your nose. There is rose here, but this does not interpret to me as a rose fragrance. I get a lot of that cherry and a lot of spiciness. The spiciness is mostly cinnamon, and believe it or not, it was a compliment that I got from my daughter, not after the video we did. She complimented me without knowing I was wearing this, and she said, whatever you're wearing, it smells a lot like cinnamon, and to my surprise, I hadn't actually smelled the cinnamon to my nose until she said so. And I put my hand closer to my nose, and boom, there it was. I could smell a lot of cinnamon. So it is a spicy fragrance, okay? It's got this cherry carried with a lot of spiciness, okay? There is some tonka in there, but I can't smell that a lot as well. I get it, the tonka is there to give it like some depth, okay? It's got that sandalwood as well, and it's got that vetiver, and it's got the patchouli, but this is not a patchouli forward fragrance, okay? So what you're going to get is a lot of that fruitiness, that cherry fruitiness, okay? I'm one person that's had a love and hate relationship with the Tom Ford fragrances, but this one surprised me. This was not a blind buy to me. I purchased an oil first, because what I do is sometimes I prefer, purchasing oils than little mini vials or decants, because, oils cost around about the same as decants, and you get more. Okay, so if you get an oil company that's really good, like me, I purchase oil. So I had an oil of this, and first impressions was a no for me, just like what my daughter did. With my daughter, fine, I get the fact that this is not a fragrance that I would have gravitated towards, even myself, if I were, say, minus 20 years now. If I was like in my 20s, okay, because I'm now 40, in my 20s, I don't think I would have seen or found this appealing. So it is a kind of like a mature fragrance. So yeah, first impressions, I wasn't impressed. Second impressions, I wasn't impressed as well. I just couldn't for the life of me figure out what this fragrance was trying to do. But for some reason, it's got an addictive nature to it. Okay, it's got an addictive nature to it, because what I then did is something in it kept on telling me that I would like this fragrance. And because I'm the sort of person that likes fragrances like this. I'm not saying this is the same, okay, but I'll explain why it's here. I was drawn to it, and then one day I thought, no, let me layer that oil with my Angel Muse and see how that goes. And when I did, trust me, I just fell so in love with this fragrance to an extent that I wasn't even sure whether it was the Angel Muse that was giving it this depth, making it so beautiful. So after a while, I subtracted this, this combo, this layering combo, and I thought I'm going to try it on its own. And I just couldn't get enough of that lost cherry oil, okay, to an extent that I thought, no, I'm just going to buy the full fragrance. This, guys, is a work of art. But make sure, if you're purchasing it for somebody as a blind buy, make sure they are well versed with fragrances. They have a lot of fragrances, or they're the mature, kind of woman or men, because this is not the sort of scent that is playful or flirty, or it's got a bit of some seriousness to it, and it's got that work of art, perfumery around it, where it's not your typical fragrance that you will just, walk in the mall and everybody else is smelling like that. It's not like that. I see some people say it feels like cough syrup. I don't get the cough syrup vibe in here. I get just a beautiful, cherry that is boozed up, with this liqueur, and I get, that spiciness to it, which is added here. So yeah, the mixture of the cherry and the plum in here, it gives it like a jammy feel to it, okay? That's what I get. I get a lot of some jamminess, okay? And in the dry down, it kind of draws a bit masculine for those that are concerned, because I did say it was 70% feminine smelling to me and a bit 30% masculine. But in the dry down, it does give you that it does lean more, a little bit more masculine, a bit powdery, really mature scent. Quite addictive, and this is one that I wouldn't recommend as a blind buy as well, because it is just one fragrance that's done. If you know Tom Ford fragrances, you will know that the Tom Ford fragrances, you either fall flat in love, or you completely hate. That is just how it is. This one to me was not like my bitter peach. My bitter peach, just spraying it, on that tester paper, I was blown away. This one, took getting used to it, getting used to this sour cherry, getting used to this bitter almond note. But it's that bitter almond note that is so addictive that once you figure it out, you just can't get enough of this. So yeah, that is what I had for you today here, guys. Okay, it's got tons of notes. Like I said, it does have that Turkish rose. It's got that sambac jasmine, but you will find that it's going to be the cherry that you sniff the most. It's going to be the liqueur, that booziness that you get there. It's going to have like somewhat of a fermented feel, something there that feels like a fermented jammy feel. You are to expect that from here. That cherry, the sourness of the cherry, which kind of spares it from becoming like a plasticky kind of traditional designer scent, because that cherry is really sour and it's boozed up. So yeah, basically that's what I had to say for you. And the other thing, in case you want to do this layering combo, is I the oil, I layered one on top of the other. I put, the oil, and then I put this on top. But as for the fragrances, I noticed that if you put one on top of the other, they seem to kind of pull apart. So if you want to try this combination, I'll suggest you spray them differently, like on different parts. Spray this on its own and spray this on its own on the same day, and then you'll feel that beautiful, that kind of beautiful scent combination going on there. So yeah, that is what I tried. But if you don't have this, don't worry. This does not need boosting. This is a great fragrance on its own. But I'm just saying, I tried that combo and I had to bring it to you, as a suggestion in case you want to try layering it with something else. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have subscribed. If you haven't, please do. And, turn on post notifications so that you're notified anytime I upload a video. Remember to like, and you can share this video if you want to share this video. And remember, smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.